Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first annual Poddies Awards, the award show for all podcasters and podcast aficionados. And now, let's go to the stage to join our hosts, Simon, and meet, Little Dicky.
Oh, thank you. Yes, okay, yeah. Nice to see everyone here. We got so many people here. We gotta do roll call first.
Yeah, boy, so sound off when your name called, and your honor go on and on.
Okay, first up is the Mr. Body guy.
I am present.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I hope you win an award for laying on the floor in the clue we made. Anyway, it came out in the house. Where you at, came out?
Yeah, I'm back here. Yeah, I think I may win an award for my narrating skills. What do you think?
Yeah, boy, yeah. Unlike the real Kmart, you ain't going out of business anytime, boy, because you working for Marceline Playground. That does mean we gotta take the award on your behalf, though.
A driver man. I hear driver man's in the house. Where you at, driver man? Raise your hand.
I'm right here, Simon. You just heard me announce you to the stage. Why are you asking if I'm here?
I don't know. I just can't tell you apart anymore. Y'all sound like the same dude talking to me.
Okay, well, what about that dude played Colonel Mustard? You in the house, dude that played Colonel Mustard? Raise your straw up in the air. Let's make some noise.
Can you do 1,000?
Oh, yeah. I got 7.
Yeah, brother. Seriously, though, you still owe me the royalties for that voice sample of mine you used in that song, so if you don't get that to me soon, I'm gonna send a repo man down there Monday morning, and he's gonna take back his stupid little food truck.
It is a brick and mortar mansion.
I don't care. Do you know how much you owe me?
Well, to be honest, you don't know either, because you can't count, boy. You can't count. You know what I said? I said you can't count.
Are you serious? Well, you can't count either. And I have it on very good authority that you are ugly.
And what authority are you speaking of here?
My eyes, the highest of all authorities.
Yeah, well, I know we can't count, and it takes more to know one.
Oh, that was a good one. In 3rd grade. Look, man, it's okay. Just calm down. We're going to get you the help that you get your hands off me, you old skeleton. You wouldn't understand. I got bills to pay. I need that money. So you just back off, the old whorehound cough drop. Whorehound cough drop? I never. What kind of bills are you going to pay with $7?
He don't know, boy, because he can't count. None of us can. See what I said, boy? I said you can't count. Yeah. Woo. Pyrotechnics in your face.
I gotta go buy the new Magic 8-Ball Funko Pop. Without it, the future is just uncertain. I just don't know. And sometimes still even with it, it's uncertain. And then sometimes it tells me I gotta ask again later.
Okay, moving on. Annoying bird character from Rockadoodle / the kid on the train from the Polar Express. Are you here this evening?
Wowie.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Okay, next we got up the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour, 5'8", lumberjack pancake stack, a molten steel and tester peel, Mr. Rob Lufer. This is the part where you say here, Rob.
Sorry.
And
Hey,
last
guys.
but not least, the master of nothing. The other guy was not invited is the end of that sentence.
Whoa! Is he an arcade cabinet? Because he just got afterburned.
Actually, I'm here. Yeah, in the back here.
Yeah, he's right here.
Yeah, I've just been sitting back here, not causing any trouble.
Did somebody just pass wind? Ladies and gentlemen, I just gotta say, that's the longest fart I've ever heard. If you're gonna do that, please go elsewhere. Anyway, the award for best host, after considering the handicap that their inferior co-host places upon them, is Rob Luther.
Is that even a real award?
Quit thoughting out
Oh.
Rob Lufer, you son of a gun, get on up here and say you're a
there. No, just do it from your seat.
I mean, never mind, no. Just say it from your seat.
Okay.
And make sure you tell us how much the other guy held you back.
Yeah, tell about that time you guys pretended to be Marceline's playground.
Let me tell y'all something. First of all, Kirkland has never held me back. As a matter of fact, I've had more fun than I've ever had in these last couple of years podcasting. So thank you so much.
Wow, Rob Luther, what an inspiring speech.
I was still...
Had I had my Magic 8-Ball Funko Pop, there had been a possibility that I would have known what you said in advance. But, by the way, I think you owe me some money, too. Anyway, the award for Best Radio Drama goes to Tiny Tim, What? Tiny Tim.
He can't tell.
Shut up, I'm trying to read. Turtle Tim.
What? It's Turtle Tom. No, stop it. Stop it. Put the guitar away. Man, Trevor, put your guitar away. Benson, I don't even know how you stuck a drum kit in here. Who's been writing Turtle Tim on the freaking show notes?
It wasn't me. It was definitely not me. It was the postman. Yeah, it was the postman. I saw him do it. I begged him at the water cooler. I said, "Postman, please don't do that. People think we're idiots if you do that." And he said, "I'm a dude anyway. Doo-doo caca. I like doo-doo." That's what he said. I don't know what it meant.
It can't be the postman because I am the postman, you idiot. I mean, I'm
He
definitely...
can't count.
Quit farting out there. I'm definitely not the postman. It's a shame that the postman couldn't be here today because he would have definitely gotten the award for best overnight postal delivery to the Spotify station and good editing too. Anyway, this goes in face of everybody that said we couldn't do this, and we want to thank everyone that voted for us, and we want to recognize some of our contemporaries today. So we got Turtles Forever in the house. Yeah, big round of applause.
Thank you.
Big round of applause, yeah. Oh, thank you. Am I the only one? Okay, well, whatever.
I guess so.
Look, okay, some people would say that they're just horrible guys and scum of the earth, and
Who says that?
that they just call me the Ninja Turtle nerds, and they can't figure out which era they want to do, and they're really inconsistent, and they're really bad at their jobs, and that the other guy's a bad teacher, and that the breath smell like anus.
Yeah, and that they suck harder than a microwave pool vacuum.
Yeah, that too. Anyway, we just want to tell everybody that says that. Thank y'all for coming out and have a good evening.
This ends this year's Poddies Awards. Thank you for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. This year's show was brought to you by Uncle Rico's Placebo Supplements, fueling your wildest dreams.
Well, okay then. Guess better get out of
Quit
here.
farting back there.
Got work in the morning.
Yeah, why do they choose to host these things at like 3:30 a.m.? And I don't know about that speech about our show. I mean, the inconsistency part's true, but still. Bunch of hosers.
And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the show that keeps giving you the things that you don't want at times you don't want them. Every 2 weeks, this is regular time. Just a regular show about the regular show. I hope you're ready to have a regular time because I sure am. As always, I hope you've been doing well since we've last spoken. I have been pretty busy at work. It's unusually busy this year. That's about all I have to say about that. What I have done in my free time, what free time I've had, besides mixing and all that, really not a whole lot. But some things have popped up on my YouTube feed for Doom mods, because if you recall, I watched the My House Doom mod several shows back. I talked about it, but really creative mod, and I did not realize that there are so many just creative storytelling type mods for the Doom engine. It's so cool. It's I probably mentioned this already, but it's like a medium in itself, making art through the Doom engine. It's so cool. But I won't get too deep into that. I just saw some that looked really cool, and I'm going to continue looking at some of them. So, yeah, new journey unlocked, I guess. Now, the episode we have on tap today is Bet to Be Blonde. It's a pretty decent episode from what I recall. I watched it a couple weeks back, and it seemed to hold up all right. When I watch it again as I go along and review this, but what I want to point out is that it originally aired September 26, 2011. So The episode of Adventure Time that aired alongside it that night is, I believe it's called What It Was Missing, or What Was I Missing? What Was It Missing? Got it pulled up right here. Yes, What Was Missing? I'm sorry. And I recall this episode of Adventure Time because I saw it a couple times, and then every time afterward, I pretty much skip it. It's not that it's necessarily a bad episode. It's got some decent jokes in it and whatnot, but from what I recall, actually, I know I watched through this one again last time I binge watched Adventure Time. But what I recall is that wasn't one of those egotistical. I'm having some allergies this time of year, so yes, it's we're transitioning from summer to fall, or at least that first illusion of transition. I don't know. Today's 8/25/2024, and my dogs are barking. But anyway, this episode of Adventure Time, What Was Missing, I recall it having Finn and Jake and no BMO's there, Pencil Bubblegum, and Marceline. I think they're chasing a guy that grabs something to Jake or something. He runs in this door, and they're trying to get the door to open, and they find out it responds to sound or music or something. So they all try to write a song. And usually, honestly, when the Marceline songs come on Adventure Time, they're pretty good. Usually there's like a major third chord in there, the major third degree of the scale. Like for G, it'd be the B chord. It gives you, this nostalgic feel in the song. But like her songs usually have that nice little upswing to them, and BMO going in the, I can't remember what Princess Bubblegum says, something about like triplet quavers or something. I don't remember, but it's just I know I think in this episode we find out that Jake plays the violin, and he's kind of I don't know, looks like he might play in the Dave Matthews Band or something. But the thing that's awkward about this episode is just Finn's singing. That's just really what turns me off about this episode every time. So yeah, from what I recall, I think the regular show would win out this week. But I didn't go back and rewatch the Adventure Time episode. That's just what I remember of it. Not saying it's a bad episode. I just think that I prefer the regular show episode this week. So let's see. Bet to Be Blonde is the second episode of season 3 and the 42nd episode overall. It first aired September 26, 2011 in the U.S. In the UK, it was July 9th, 2012. U.S. viewers 1.99 million, which is not, it's a little low, but not like, super low. Age rating PG. Synopsis. After being forced into going blonde by Rigby. Hang on. I misread that. Hang on. Okay, so I figured, being I misread the synopsis, that I would go ahead and readjust my mic because it was sounding a little wonky there. It's probably going to make editing this thing a nightmare, but oh well. So, synopsis. After being forced into going blonde by Rigby's dishonest victory on a video game, Mordecai joins an all-blonde cult. So, I'll just go ahead and tell you, this gives me like 70s horror movie type vibes, or maybe suspense movie type vibes or something, But yeah, let's think maybe go ahead and get into this, because wait, no, of course not. No, I still got to do all the front loading stuff. Yeah, because I'm professional and all. Credits: directed by Mike Roth, written and storyboarded by Benton Connor and Calvin Wong. Regular show created by J.G. Quintel. That's not actually on the, whatever. Last episode was Stick Hockey. I haven't recorded that one yet. I was thinking that Rob was going to record it with me. I don't know if he is or not. We'll find out. I'm not sure yet. I just, left that one open just in case, I guess he wanted to. Next episode, Skip Strikes. That's another pretty good one. So, the characters on this one. Let me zoom it in here because, I'm old. Mordecai, J.G. Quintel, Rigby, and Blonde number 2 is William Salyers. Pop Benson Muscle Man is Sam Marin. Skips and Mega Blonde is Mark Hamill. Additional voices, Margaret is Janie Haddad, and Blonde 1 and Blonde 2 is our Sixth Ranger, Roger Craig Smith. Yes, sir. Oh, one thing I guess I should mention is that apparently we've gotten some sort of news or confirmation from Mark Hamill that Skips will be in whatever the regular show reboot or universe, the spinoff, whatever that's going to be. Apparently Skips is going to be in it, which makes sense, because I saw this video. I guess he was at, I don't know if it was like a Comic-Con or I don't know where he was at. He was at some sort of convention. But he was talking about, I don't know why it'd be Comic-Con, but the old G4, Comic-Con coverage is, that's just, old habits. But anyway, he was talking about how William Salyers texted him. It was either William Salyers or J.G. Quintel. I'm thinking William Salyers. He got confused though. Like the title of the video, the little short clip was Mark Hamill forgot what Skips' name was or something. So he couldn't remember his name. And he's like, what's the one that voices the little Rigsby? Not Rigby, but Rigsby. The one that voices the little Rigsby. And he, and he's like, he texted him back. I just want to make sure you're doing Skips. And he's like, and he said, I texted him back, said, there's only one Skips. So he, he texts him back this little dancing man or something. I don't know, but that seems like good news though. Rigsby, it just cracked me up because it's like he's done so many roles that he can't even remember the names of his characters. And oh man. Anyway, yeah. All right. So I guess let's go ahead and get into this. So as we start the episode, it's one of those few episodes where you don't hear birds chirping, which makes sense because it starts off and Mordecai and Rigby are inside the house playing video games on the couch. And the game they're playing is, I don't know what it is, but there's like a building on fire. It says round 1 at the top. And I guess it's these two cops. One of them has an afro and the other has like this blonde. It's not a pompadour. I guess it's like, I don't know, like what you'd almost envision like a, I don't know, like the 50s. If you took Flock of Seagulls haircut and you took it back to the 50s, maybe like, I don't know, like a grown out James Dean type haircut, or Bronson or somebody. I don't know. Charles Bronson. I don't know. But they're playing and they're like, they're trash talking each other. And Mordecai's like, hey, but you can't blow up that barrel. And there's a barrel that says TNT on it. And Rigby's character blows it up and it knocks him backwards. And Mordecai's like, ha ha, you fool. You're not supposed to shoot the barrels. He goes, hey, but you can't get that power up. And it's an afro pick, a purple one. And Rigby's character runs into it and his afro gets really big. And he starts running really slow. And the animation's funny. Like the afro weighs so much, it's like weighing him back. And he's like, his head's pulled back. And he's jogging. Kind of looks like he's running like Carl off Aqua Teen. His arms are just kind of barely moving, And I don't know why you can probably hear my chair squeaking. I don't know why, but I'm recreating the motion. You can see it, right? But anyway, Mordecai's like, haha, that slows you down. He says, I'm so glad that I picked the character with the more aerodynamic haircut. Which is, I don't know. It just sounds so stupid, but it's just great. So Rigby's like, pause the game. And they pause. And he's like, my character's haircut is totally not stupid. Your character's haircut's stupid. And I could totally beat you at this game. He may not call Mordecai's character's haircut stupid. I don't know. But Mordecai's like, you seem so sure about that. He's like, yeah, I'm sure about that. And, care to make a wager, all that. And Rigby's like, fine. If I win, you got to get your character's stupid haircut for a week or so. And Mordecai's like, fine, if I win, you got to get your character's stupid haircut for a week. And when Rigby says your character's stupid haircut for a week, like it goes to the game's box for the cover art. And it really does look like a 70s, like a 70s cop movie. It kind of looks like one of those I don't know who the character's modeled after, but it kind of does look like a Charles Bronson. Or like maybe even a spy, like maybe even like maybe was it Roger Moore? It was the real blonde-headed James Bond. I'm not sure, but it's definitely giving off those vibes. So they agree to the wager, and Rigby's like, "Fine, okay." And then immediately he goes, "Ah!" And he grabs his chest and his stomach, and he falls over. And Mordecai's like, "What's wrong?" And Rigby's like, "I'm dying, man." And he says, "Dude, get up." And he goes, "I'm serious, man. My stomach is like crazy dry. I must be dehydrated." And Mordecai's like, "Oh, you're so lame sometimes." And he gets up and he goes to the kitchen to get him some water. And you can probably see where this is going. Rigby unplugs Mordecai's controller while he's in the other room. This is very reminiscent of Dirty Tactics when you would play multiplayer in video games back in the day. If you were really bad at it, I guess that's what you did. Me, I just lost. I didn't have the common sense to do this, but So Mordecai brings him the water, and Rigby's like, "Thanks, man. Now that my stomach's not dry anymore, I'm totally going to beat you at this game." So they, also, I forgot to mention, Rigby covers up the controller port with a sock. So that's why Mordecai, he's not about to see it initially. And Mordecai's like, "Okay, let's go." And Rigby's like, "Okay, I guess I'll just unpause the game then." He unpauses it, and he starts running around with his character. Mordecai's character, Mordecai's originally not even looking at the screen. That's how much better he is than Rigby at this game. So he's just kind of looking at Rigby with like this smug look on his face. And then we see his character on screen though is not moving, and it's just he's kind of looking out of the screen, like blinking, back when Super Nintendo, in the 90s and everything, games, the sprites would have like these animations when they were standing still. They would eventually do something, like Earthworm Jim and stuff like that. They'd have like these little funny animations. Well, Mordecai's blonde character just kind of looks at the screen and blinks. And Mordecai realizes he's not moving, and he's going, "What the heck, dude?" And he looks down and he moves the sock, and he sees the controller. He's trying to plug it back in the port, and he's like, "Come on, come on, come on." And it looks like it's an 8-pin connector or something like that. I don't know. But this is supposed to be, I think, the Sega Master System, inspired by it. But anyway, basically Rigby's character gets out of the building, and then the building comes collapsing down on Mordecai's character. It's on fire and everything. Player 2 wins, and Rigby, "Oh, guess you're going to be going blonde for a week, loser." Something of that nature. So we cut to the coffee shop, and we hear Rigsby say, "Oh my blonde!" Except, not that loud. But he says, "Oh my blonde," and we see Mordecai with his blonde hairstyle, and it's really giving off the if you've seen Anthony Kiedis in the Red Hot Chili Peppers Around the World music video, that's kind of what it's looking like here. And Margaret comes out to take their orders, like, "Rigby, what can I get you? What can I get you, sir?" And Margaret, "It's me." And she starts laughing. She says, "Mordecai, I really like your haircut." And I don't know if she likes it or not. I don't know. But anyway, she walks off, and Rigby says, "I got to use it. What's my coffee, Blondie?" So while he's in the restroom, you see him at the sink, and he's washing his hands, and the sink is just completely full of suds. And he's like, "Man, it's good to be the champ. Yet somehow I feel bad," something like that. And then he goes, "Meh." He walks out, and he comes out, and Mordecai's not there. He's like, "What? He ditched me?" And we see, no, Mordecai's found a new group of friends, and they all have blonde hair. And they all kind of laugh. "Oh, your friend was bashing you pretty hard back there. And, normal hairs are all jealous of our style. Let me tell you, my friend, you've got style. You should hang out with us." And, Rigby comes over, and he's like, "Hey, Mordecai, or hey, Blondecai, blah, 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 blah." And the one of the blonde guys is like, "Oh, we don't associate with normal hairs. We don't talk with normal hairs," or something. And Rigby says, "That's too bad, because I got a really funny joke for you. How do you confuse a Blondecai?" And he says, "You don't. They're born that way." And he starts laughing. "Oh." And then the blonde guy says, "Yeah, that's pretty good. Here, I've got one for you. What's brown, black, blue, and lying in a ditch?" Or something like that. And he goes, "I don't know." And he says, "You, if you don't take that back right now." And, Rigby, "Ah," he's like intimidated by it. And then the guy goes, "Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just yanking your chain. We're cool." And so, yeah, it's So Mordecai is making a new group of friends. He also finds the joke so funny that, he pulls the whoa, and like mid whoa, one of the guy cuts him off and goes, he's had enough, which I thought was pretty good. And then the scene wipes. So Rigby is taking out some trash and Mordecai is not far from him. And Rigby drags the trash bag over and says, why did the Blondecai or the blonde, one or the other, jump over the clock? And then he kind of chuckles and says, excuse me. And he says, to get some overtime. And he goes, get it, because you're dumb. And he hits him. And he's like, anyway, want to hang out? Mordecai's like, no, I'm going to go hang out with the blondes, I think. And he goes, you hang out with them all the time. What do you guys do? He says, play video games, watch movies, eat tacos. It's cool things. And Rigby says, we do those things all the time. You should just stay here. And his eyes get real big, like he's pleading. Mordecai says, and risk getting made fun of? No thanks. You see, the blondes tell me that the follicularly normative environment here is, something, I don't know, too hostile towards blonde. Yeah. I figured it would be follicularly, but the non-blonde haired people are too blonde hostile. That's what he's saying. Sure. Tongue twisters. Maybe not really. Follicularly. Anyway. So the van pulls up and it's the blonde people in the back of the van. And it really does look, like a kidnapper's van or something. They're listening to some like 80s, synth pop. And it's cool because, the toms, this show does this so well. They use tracks like that. But, Rigby's like, wait, no, you don't have to go with them. And he's like, oh, yes, I do. I'm Blondecai now. I got to hang out with the blondes. And we see these blondes all have like rings on and they're all dressed the same. I should have mentioned that. But they drive off and Rigby goes up to Skips, who's working on a car, changing the oil, it looks like. Or at least he's got the dipstick pulled out. He's checking some sort of fluid. And he's like, Skips, you got to help. And he's like, let me guess. You cheated on a bet. He's like, how'd you know? And he says, I could tell by the shame in your eyes. And so he's like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, look, he says, you need to be honest with Mordecai. He'll appreciate your honesty and courage. And so Rigby says something like, yeah, I was with you until the whole honesty and courage part. You think there's a way I could get off scot-free? Skips is like, you mean you're not going to take my advice? And Rigby's like, I got it. I'll just call off the bet. So, Skips kind of chuckles. He goes, call the bet off. Something like that. And, fine, but don't say I didn't warn you. And, Rigsby rustles off, So he goes inside. He's like, Mordecai, I want to call off the bet. And Mordecai's like, what? No, I never back out of a bet. Or he's like, besides, he goes, I wanted to go back to the way it was before. That's what Rigby says. He says, you can be Mordecai instead of Blondecai. And he says, no, to be honest with you, I actually think I like being Blondecai better. And we see, if you look back in the closet, 2 Mordecai and the Rigby shirts hanging up. The white ones with the red trim. And he's like, he's like, where are you going? He says, I'm going to move in with the blondes to the end of the bet. So maybe this Mordecai and the Rigby shirt signifies 2 things. This is the end of Mordecai and Rigby, as well as he just didn't have room in that packing box. But anyway, Rigby's throwing a hissy fit. Mordecai's like, dude, chill. It's just till the end of the week. I don't know what you think's going to happen. So Mordecai takes all his crap and hauls it down to an I-haul truck, and then he tears it out of there. Rigby chases in pursuit, going, Mordecai, wait, I got something to tell you. And well, the scene wipes, and we are now at Casa del Mason, Maison. I don't know if that name has any significance or not to any guilds out there, but I don't know. But anyway, this building, I've had to cut 3 or 4 takes of doing this part of the show right now because I had to go back and redo it, I should say, because I'm doing a horrible job describing this building. It's some sort of condo complex, and it's like Spanish or Mexican looking type, I guess. But it's like like the red clay almost looking building. It's not really clay, and then it's got like in the cheap Mexican restaurants, they use the PVC pipes but it's supposed to look, I guess, like terracotta clay pot roofing or something like that. I don't know how to explain it. And then they got a pool out back, and it's got this really tall. I don't know if that's supposed to be a diving board or a watchtower outside of it with palm trees and whatnot, but it's kind of a cool looking scene. So a montage ensues. So Mordecai opens the door. There's a sign that says "Welcome, Mordecai," and then it's them playing golf, the blondes and Mordecai. And they get in the golf cart, and Rigby's kind of chasing after him. And the song playing is pretty cool. It kind of feels like the that song "I Always Feel Like Somebody's Watching Me." It's got Michael Jackson singing that part, and what's that other guy's name? Oh man, I can never remember that guy's name, but it's such a cool name. It's like one of those one name names, like Seal, but it's not Seal. Hang on, I gotta look at that now. Hang on. It's Rockwell. That's it. It's Rockwell. That is like the coolest. Rockwell. Rigby changed his name to Trash, but I'm changing my name to Rockwell. No, not really, but that is a cool name. Rockwell, though. Yeah, somebody's watching me. It kind of has that type feeling. It's not obvious. I mean, it's obviously not the same thing, but I guess they didn't want to pay licensing for that one. But it's kind of got this buzzy little synth, um, playing the. It's not even the melody. It's like this tangential type melody. But anyway, the next thing after they play golf, they go to the department store Mervington's, and Mordecai gets his blonde guy outfit that they all wear. As they're getting in the van, they see they see Rigby chasing after him. So Mordecai shuts the door real quick, and they drive off. And then the next thing is they are sailing, and there's a flag that says "Blondes are cooler than you." And if you pay attention, this is the first time I've noticed this. I've seen this episode a few times. I never really thought about this, but they are sailboat racing against cliques of other hair colors. So they pass up the redheads, and the brunette people are over on the far side of the screen. But the focus here is on Rigby and a little like paddle boat, like one person paddle boat. He's trying to catch him, but he can't. So they finish, and the blondes finish first, the redheads finish second, the brunettes finish third. So it's kind of like a little 2-plot montage or whatever. So yeah. So then the montage ends, and you see all the blondes running, hup, 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 and then okay, great fun run, guys. Now let's go, whatever. Mordecai says, okay, yeah, you go on, I'll catch up, and he's like popping his shoulder and cracking his back, and he's, he's just, I guess he's worn out, but Rigby comes around and he's like, Mordecai, I've been trying to talk to you all day, and he's like, but those blondes keep cutting me off, and he goes, you don't got to do this anymore, and he says, yeah, I do. He goes, man, the fact of the matter is you got skills and you beat me good. You got me good. So yes, I got to do this. And he says, no, you don't have to do this because the fact of the matter is I chew. Oh, shoo, bless me. And he says, that was the weirdest sneeze I've ever heard. Anyway, I got to go. I got to go to my initiation. And Ruby says, initiation? He says, yeah, apparently you get some cool ring for joining. And he pulls out the little blonde coat, the sport coat out of his duffel bag that he's carrying. Oh, yeah, sorry, he was carrying a duffel bag, my bad. And he goes, in fact, there's only one thing left I have to do to be initiated. And Ruby says, what's that? And he starts walking towards Rigby, and Ruby starts backing up, and he backs up into a crowd of blondes, like 3 or 4 of them, and he says, I have to blonde an outsider. And this really kind of looks like something you see off Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, with those guys in the suits and everything, and there's just a whole bunch of them, So they place a bag over his head, and then I don't know if I don't guess he gets knocked out, but like when they pull the bag off his head, the scene cuts. They pull the bag off his head, and he's hanging upside down in like this cavern. And he's like, "What is this?" And Mordecai says, "This is the blondening." He doesn't say the blonding. He says, "This is the blondening." I love that. That gets me every time he said. Like every time I watch it through, that always sticks out. This is the blondening. And and the leader of them, I guess I think he's voiced by Roger Craig Smith is what it sounds like. But he says, Mordecai, you've made a pact with the covenant of the blonde, or the pact with the something other blonde. And he goes, here's a really cool ring to signify that you've done that. And he puts the ring on his finger, and it's this gold this gold ring with a red like a garnet or whatever. I guess garnets are red. I don't know. But it's this red stone in the middle. It says full blonde on it. So, let's see what happens here. So the Roger Craig Smith character says, but in order to keep the ring, you have to blonde. Basically, he says he has to blonde Rigby, and then he goes, to death. He doesn't say Rigby, but, you have to blonde an outsider to death. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually implying death, or I'm not sure, but it's ridiculous. But Mordecai pulls this lever on the ground. This is starting to look very James Bond, but he pulls this lever on the ground and this hatch opens up and it's this gold looking like lava. And Rigby, he's pleading, you don't have to do this. I cheated. I'm sorry. And Mordecai stops it inches short, of Senator Rigby full Terminator 2 gold edition. And he's like, that's all I needed to hear. And he says, what? He says, I knew you were cheating. And he pulls off the blonde hair was a wig. He pulls it off. He says, I was just doing this to teach you a lesson. And Rigby says, oh, so all these guys are just wearing gold wigs to teach me a lesson too, huh? And he goes, no, this is actually an evil secret club. We'd better get out of here. And so he gets him down from the chain and they all start chasing him. And this chase scene ensues. And they're like, get the outsider. And they take their rings and they're shooting lasers from him. And Rigby's like, what the heck, dude? Those things shoot lasers? And he goes, I don't know if they knew this or not, but Mordecai turns his ring back, starts shooting them and kind of picking them off. And they're running down these, this underground cavernous looking corridor with pipes. It's very James Bond and, taking cover and shooting lasers and whatnot. And this big old, I guess this is the mega blonde character they were talking about, but it says blonde for life. And it looks like he's got 10 fingers on each hand and he's got a ring on each one of them. He may just have 5. I don't know, but he's just firing, multiple lasers all at once. And he looks like that dude off of No Country for Old Men. The one, I've never seen that movie, but I guess he's the one, do you have a coin? All that jazz, but I don't know. So, I'll be on the lookout for my spinoff podcast, All That Jazz with Kirkland. Not really. The kids at school just picked up on me saying all that jazz a lot. I knew that eventually one year the kids would pick up on it. I didn't know this would be the year because I've been doing it since I've been teaching. I just say all that jazz a lot. Nobody's ever picked up on that until this year. They've all started saying, they say, all that jazz, all that jazz. So, yeah, whatever. They hate me. Anyway, moving on. So they make their way so far into this cavern that they find the conspiracy. There's all these barrels of this is like a third tier conspiracy, this is the C plot, but there's all these barrels of hydrogen peroxide, which say flammable on them, and hydrogen peroxide is not flammable. I'm pretty sure it's not flammable. I teach chemistry and I have a chemistry degree. I don't think it's flammable, but I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not flammable. I mean, hydrogen's flammable and oxygen's flammable, but I don't think hydrogen peroxide's flammable. Anyway, but they make sure every barrel flammable, try it on the front. And this one dude, he's like, I don't think it's the same guy as the blonde for life, but he's got, it looks to be 6 fingers. Is that 6? 1, 2, 3. No, he's got the regular amount of fingers, but there's a ring on each. Wait a sec. He does have, counting his thumb, he does have 6 fingers on each. Crap, I knew something looked weird. But he's multi-firing all 10 rings at once because he's not wearing a ring on his thumbs. And he's got this like a Cyclops top visor with the diamond on top. And, he's and then he charges that up and he shoots it one time. And Mordecai and Rigby, who are they're taking cover, it doesn't hit him. And he grabs, I don't know what it is. This has to be a reference to a movie. But he grabs something that's attached to that visor. It's like this, I don't know if it's like I don't know what it is, but it's like attached to that visor. And he grabs it and rips it off. And he's like, and it almost looks like, on Dragon Ball Z, it's over 9,000. And he crushes it. That's almost like what it kind of reminds me of. But Mordecai's like, quick. And of course, there's conveniently an elevator.
and he knocks over one of the hydrogen peroxide barrels, and it kind of spills out. And he goes, he's like, they want the ring. That's what they're going to get. Or Rigby's like, no, don't blow up, whatever. And he goes, I'm not going to set anything on fire. I don't know, something. He says he wants the ring. That's what they're going to get. And he takes the ring, and like on the inside of it, there's a little switch, and like it's etched. I think it says like laser, I think. But the other one I do remember, it says self-destruct. So he flips it to self-destruct and throws it at one of the barrels. And, they get in the elevator and they take off. And, I mean, of course, self-destruct around, quote, flammable hydrogen peroxide. I mean, of course, what else is going to happen? So all the blondes get to the elevator. It's like this first-person point of view. And all these, the hands of all the blonde guys are beating on the elevator door. And they're like, come on, open. And then they realize they're not going to get open. And the one voice by Mark Hamill turns around and goes, he's the one with the visor, by the way. He says, oh, man, this is not good. And then it blows up. And the elevator comes. I guess they're in the basement. Of course. No, Kirkland. They were in the attic with all the caverns. No, they were underground. But the explosion blows the elevator through the shaft, through the roof of Casa del Mason. And the elevator lands out in the driveway, and it makes a little crater, and it really reminds me of the Indiana Jones movie that, I don't guess it was the last one, but it was the one with the Transformer kid in it. I don't know, but he gets a refrigerator and he gets blasted out of there, and then they did like an Easter egg of that in Fallout. It's the Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, something like that. I think that's the one. But anyway. Yeah. No, why did it have to be snakes jokes? Nope, they just blow that. And it's really funny scenery, too. They come crawling out of there, and I guess there's an ambulance shows up, and they're like, oh, man. Or he's like, I definitely learned my lesson on this one. And Mordecai's like, oh, yeah, what's that? And he says, cheating on a bet is not cool. I'll never cheat on a bet again. Although the psychological damage from this will scar me for life or something. It's kind of one of those, Rigby's kind of done that quite a bit throughout this episode. Kind of like this almost fourth wall breaking commentary. And Mordecai says, oh, yeah, you want to place a wager on that? And he pulls out this bottle of, quote, blonde dye. And, yeah, so there we go. Rigby says no, basically. And that's pretty much it. So, yeah. So let's look back at that's the episode. So let's look back at the trivia on the wiki page. The blonde brute with blonde for life, that's the number 4, Lyfe, on both hands has 6 fingers on each hand. And blonde doesn't have an E, it's just BLOND, and then number 4, Lyfe. So yeah, I pointed that out. Pop culture references the I-Haul moving truck as a reference to real life moving company U-Haul. I figured everybody would know that. I'm pretty sure I pointed that one out. Mordecai's character in Extreme Escape is supposed to resemble Golgo 13, the main protagonist of the manga series of the same name. I have not read that. I guess I'll have to go back and look at it. I don't know. I guess that, actually, I'm going to look that up real quick because, just hang on. I do recall this. I've never seen this show, but I watched a retrospective of it on YouTube. That sounds so dumb. I've never seen it, but I've watched something about it. That's that sounds like something that I would rant about. But I remember during the, I guess it was right around the time of the lockdown. I was watching on YouTube about the Golgo 13, and he's like I think he's like a womanizing hitman or something like that. And the only reason I recognize this is because I see this box art that says The Professional Golgo 13, GOLGO 13. I just recall this. Now, he's not blonde, but I remember this now because there's one that involves like a cruise ship, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Definitely. Oh, and there's a 1973 movie by the same name. All right, cool. So, yeah. I bet you, honestly, it was Kyoto Video. At least that's the series name. I don't know if that is the okay, actually here's this video. Here's the same video I watched, I'm pretty sure. the series is called KYOTO, Kyoto Video. I guess like Japan, you know. But the YouTube channel is Kaiser Beams, KAISERBEAMZ. He does some pretty good reviews on anime movies and series, but mainly like movies, OVAs from usually the 80s, but you know, sometimes earlier. Really, really cool stuff. I like watching his channel quite a bit. But anyway, yeah, so apparently that is what that's supposed to be a reference to. So let's see. Production notes. This episode received a total of 1.991 million views worldwide. Goofs. When Mordecai sets his ring to self-destruct, the switch is on the underside of the ring. Hang on, the underside of the ring top, and Mordecai uses it. But at the same time, he didn't know it was there. Alrighty. However, the blondies could have told him about it off screen. The blondes. Yeah, I think that's. Here's the thing about that ring switch too. It's like if you put the thing on and if it doesn't fit right, and I don't know if it gets, if it brushes up against the wall and gets turned or whatever, the friction between that switch and your finger. How are you not going to self-destruct the ring off of your hand? Just blow your hand off. Anyway. Benson is listed in the credits as one of the characters Sam Marin voices in the episode, yet he does not make an appearance. So I don't know if that is due to maybe a scene being cut or whatever, because the last review that I did before this one was Skunked with the Roadkill Bingo, and as we talked about that, I reviewed the season 2 finale before I reviewed Skunked. But anyway, I talked about there where some of the scenes were cut, so some of the characters were left out. I'm wondering if that may have happened here. Although it's definitely not as obvious here if that did happen, because this seemed to be a much more cohesive episode. When the blonde man leader is threatening Rigby in the coffee shop, a portion of his hair is incorrectly colored in a fleshy tone. Okay? Mordecai says that's kind of like Scooby-Doo's, one of their arms turning purple. Scooby-Doo. Anyway, Mordecai says that when he makes his initiation, he will get a ring, yet Mordecai is seen with this same ring in a prior scene. Yeah, they make a big deal about that cool ring. This is such cool. They say it at least 3 times. Yeah, so yeah. Plus, this ring's really cool, man. So it sounded more like Tommy Chong. Plus, this ring's really cool, man. You leave Canada. You leave Canada, don't come back. Sorry, it's that 70s show, man. Anyway, so that's it for Bet to Be Blonde. I mean, as far as I can tell, the episode name is not really a reference to like any movies or anything, but I could be wrong. It feels like there is so much more pop culture reference in this episode than what is being listed on the wiki, but I cannot pinpoint it. So I really think there's some James Bond stuff going on here. Some sort of like cult stuff or something. I don't know. I mean, they do say, they call it a secret evil club and all this. So I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this episode. It was pretty good. I'll just go ahead and tell you, I haven't reviewed Stick Hockey yet, but I'm betting I remember Stick Hockey. Stick Hockey's a better episode. Stick Hockey actually, somebody that I don't want to say I've got them watching the regular show, but like they have started watching the regular show, and I think that she listens to my show, this show as well. But her favorite episode, she said one of them was Stick Hockey, and I can't remember the other episode, but Stick Hockey was definitely one of her. She that was the first one she mentioned. So yeah, Stick Hockey is a really good episode. It's like a blood sport type parody, sort of. I figured Stick Hockey would be a reference like that. What was that movie? I should probably save this for the stick hockey episode, but there's this movie that my dad said. I can't remember. It's like this hockey movie, like this high school hockey movie. Hang on, I'll find it. It's called Youngblood. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's it. And I haven't even seen the whole thing. I've seen part of it. It's got a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb. And I asked my dad, and he's like, after that movie came out, every fight you saw in high school, he said, first thing they tried to do was pull their shirt over the other guy's head. Because that's the thing in this movie. They pull the shirt over the guy's head and start. I don't know, but yeah, okay. So it's got your Rob Lowe, Dean Youngblood, and then Patrick Swayze is the important character. Derek Sutton, sorry, it's the important character because it's Patrick Swayze. You understand? Jim Youngs as Kelly Youngblood. Okay, whatever. I'm thinking that's the pull the shirt over somebody's head and yeah, punch them while the shirt's over their head. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I've never seen the movie, but yeah. So yeah, I would have thought there would have been something about pulling shirt over somebody's head because it's stick hockey, but no, nothing on there. But it's a great episode. This episode, however, Bet to Be Blonde. Honestly, probably I'd give it 5.5 or 6. It's not a bad episode, and it's definitely cohesive. It kind of, and it's not even that it plays it safe. It just doesn't have any real stick out moments. It has some, absurdity in it, but it just seems like they would have played into the. I wish there was more of the whole campy James Bond, type stuff at the end, as opposed to them just running down a corridor. I think it tried to cram 20 pounds of honey into 10 pounds of pants there at the end. So, but yeah, and I wish I would have known what these references were because some of this stuff is just so like deliberate looking that it looks like it has to be a reference, like the guy ripping the thing off of his visor and slamming it down. I don't know, but yeah, it's not a bad episode. It's definitely though not the best of season 3. That's for sure. Season 3 has some absolute gems in it. Fantastic. Some of the best episodes in the series. Stick Hockey is one of them. It's a great one. Skip Strikes is pretty good. We've already done the Halloween episodes on this channel, or at least the In the House and the Creepy Doll. Those are both great. And then Looking On, Slam Dunk, Cool Box is all right. Wrap It Up. That seems to be an iconic episode. I thought Cruising's not the episode I'm thinking of though. Let's see. Under the Hood, that's a graffiti episode. It's that's another one of those like jinxed type episodes. Weekend at Benson's though is a fantastic episode. Let's see. Skips versus Technology, and who could forget Excellent. I'm just going. I'm waxing along here, but there's all kinds of. And it's almost like it's not. I don't want to say it's good bad episode, but it's like you'll have a good episode, and then you'll have one that's like it's still pretty decent, but then you'll have a really good episode that follows, and it's kind of. I guess that's the season 3 curse is that the good episodes are so good that the ones that follow have a hard time following that. So whereas season 2, most things were, almost probably above average, maybe, or at least definitely par, through probably 90% of season 2. Whereas a season 3, you're probably going like par, and then you're going, 7, 8.5, something like that. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So, that's just, I guess each season has its own type of theme. So, there we go. But anyway, if you've listened up to this point, thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Don't know how long it's going to take me to get season 3 out, but, we're working on it. We're working on it as we speak. And if you would, like, share, follow, subscribe, interact, send me some questions.
if you would like to have your review featured on this show, send me a voicemail and I'll put your review up on the show, or a voice message on, Anchor FM on that. Or you can send me a voice clip on, I don't know, probably Anchor FM would be the best place to do it. Yeah. Anchor FM. Or if you want to type me out a review, I would be happy to read it. Whatever. But yeah, I would very much appreciate any reviews. Definitely the reviews on Spotify and iTunes and all that, they help increase the algorithm. That'd probably be appreciated even more, but I would enjoy having your feedback and anything you can do to spread the show. That's cool. I think as of the other day, I don't know if I've gotten another listener or not, but anyway, that's okay. So yeah, next time we'll be back with that one episode that comes after this one. The one that I said. I guess it skips tracks back. I don't know. But yeah. Thank you for listening, and until next time, insert catchphrase here.